Coach, that second, third quarter, I'm guessing you were pretty happy. So what went right in those stages of the game for your offense?
Really, we just, we finally started hitting some of those deep balls that we've been missing. We found ourselves in a couple one-on-one situations and, put a good ball in the air and the receivers went and made a play. And that's, when we're hitting those type of things, this is when this thing gets pretty fun. So just from an execution standpoint, it was probably the best, we've been for a couple quarters last few games. But I was just, I was pleased with it because, like we said, it's been, you're frustrated because you missed some of those the last couple games, but to finally hit some in stride and hit them how we want is, is really encouraging.
It feels like too, like still the receivers are winning a lot in those cases, and maybe underthrow or protection. What's kind of leading to still maybe some of those yards being left on the field?
It's the same thing. Like last week, it's just one thing here or there. If it's protection one time, it's not having my feet set or having my feet how they're supposed to be to put the ball where we need it. But just continue to work it. To continue trying to get to a point. Like Chase's that he caught there in the second quarter that kind of ended up leading to the scoring drive. I would much rather him catch that and go score so we don't have to call, 4 or 5 more plays down the red zone and try and go score from far instead. But yeah, we got to continue to work those things because when our guys win like that, we've got to put the ball where it's supposed to be so that we can go score on those plays.
How do you balance, fourth quarter when it's a 2-possession game like that? Trying to be aggressive, take those kill shots, and also just trying to kill clock.
Right. You got to, the thing about us is you can't change, you can't change how we play as far as, we got to be smart and we can't just go as fast as possible, but we also got to stay in rhythm. And, I felt like we got out of rhythm a little bit the other night. It starts with me. I got to do a better job of putting us in a better position to do some things better and do some things differently. And doing things that are going to allow us to have success, get a few more first downs. But it's kind of a balance. When you are a tempo team, you've got to lead, but we got to learn how to play with the lead because, we're going to be in plenty more games this season where it's going to be the fourth quarter and we're going to have a 1-score, 2-score lead, and we got to go find ways to continue to stay productive and go finish drives and put them in the end zone.
Rajay carrying a lot of the workload right now. Are you happy with where Marlon and London are, coming along with progress to getting them more carries too?
No, we need to kind of get a little more balance back there and probably distribute some of those touches a little bit and get those guys going because the more successful we've been the last few years, we've always had 2 or 3 guys that have rolled, and it just allows those guys to stay fresh, especially late in the game like the other night when we need to go lean on them a little bit and run the football. It helps when you've been able to roll 2 or 3 backs throughout the game. That way they're all fresh.
And with the run game, do you feel like it was obviously UTSA's got a really good front? Was it that, or was it communication? What did you see kind of there?
UTSA is really good up front, and we knew that going in. But those 2 guys in the middle are really hard to move. They've got great length, great size. It was a little bit of both, just never really gotten a rhythm early in the game as far as establishing, first downs early in a drive to kind of get tempo and get those big guys, because that's your only chance. When you get a couple 320-pounders in the middle, those guys are hard to move. And so you got to get those guys going early, try and wear them down a little bit, and we just weren't able to do that. And I think that's what led to some of the inconsistencies running it. And we missed a few runs. We lost a few guys late. There was after the catch by Yannick, we pop a run on the next one, and we're 1 guy away from scoring a touchdown there on the first play right after Yannick's catch. And so there's things like that happen throughout the game. But at the end of the day, we gotta lock in and do a better job of finding more consistent runs. We gotta find a way to get more consistent 5, 6, 7, 8 yard runs than what we're getting right now.
Obviously, you won't be coaching directly against Omega Blake, but he was here in the spring. Any worry that he's going to give any of the tips and stuff to the defense? And did you have to change anything up this week?
Not really. I just for him, he's in his 3rd offense in the last probably 6-7 months, and so he's probably had to focus in on his offense there, and just like us as coaches, there's a lot of times you kind of forget more football than at the present time, or you've learned. So I don't worry about it so much, and obviously we go pretty quickly. So being able to share that information and get it relayed to the defense would be pretty tough.
What do you see out of Charlotte defensively?
Very similar to UTSA, very strong up front. They've got a couple guys in the interior D line that are really talented. They've got really solid edge guys, some really good pass rush guys. Linebackers are solid. Back end, they've got a really talented corner. They do a good job. I think the DC does a really good job of mixing things up. You're never going to get the same call many times in a row. And so we got our hands full for sure. We got to find a way to just make sure we've got a good game plan to make sure whatever we're getting, it can handle versus a lot of different things. Because we're gonna see a lot of different things. He'll be aggressive. He'll come after you. So we definitely got our hands full.
Now you're still looking for that first turnover-free game from Jake. But what are those conversations like week to week with him as far as what he's doing good and what he needs to improve on?
Yeah, I mean that is the huge and main focus. With the defense that we have, and the ability that we have to be explosive on offense, we know this, and we preach it every week. That it's a consistent message of we have to protect the football, and if we'll do that, we are going to find ourselves in a situation we can win every game we play the rest of the season. But it's something that it's talked about every single week. It's been talked about since the first day we got here in fall camp. But we have to protect the football. And, we had a couple the other night, and one was a breakdown by at another skill position that led to one. And then the other one, he was late, and he had bad feet, and he was late on the throw. And you can't do that when it's a field out route like that. It's going to cost you. So it's been the same message that it's always been. He knows the good things that he's doing, and we're going to continue to build on those. But at the end of the day, we have to protect the football. There's no excuses. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We have to.
The little nuances in the offense, like that pick on what should have been, I guess, a deeper route by the X receiver. Do you have to remind yourself still it's first year of the offense? Like, I'm sure things like that frustrate you.
Yes, yeah, it is frustrating, but at the same time, the first thing you have to do is you have to look at yourself. First starts with me, and then it starts with the other coaches. Like, you can't under communicate. You have to over communicate everything, because what you think makes a ton of sense in your mind. When it gets communicated the first time, it may not register. And so for us as coaching staff, starting with me, we have to communicate, and we have to over communicate and make sure we're getting exactly what we want, the details of what we want in every play. Because that's the difference between a touchdown and a turnover. And so it is frustrating, but at the same time, before you go, getting mad at a player, you better look at yourself. And that's where we have to do a better job. I have to do a better job of making sure I know it got communicated, but we got to make sure that it gets communicated the right way to where our kids they're on the same page and they know exactly what we're wanting to get done.
Biggest score of the game might have been right there before halftime. How much do you put into those in the first half, coming out of the second half moments there? No,
it's huge. Places I've been before, we've used that as one of our team goals, as the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. And, if you can win those 8 minutes, you have a great chance of winning the football game. And so for us to go in there and put a score on the board right before the end of the half, defense comes out, does a great job, gets a 3 and out, and then we go right down there and score. And that's a 14-point swing in the game. And it was huge. And it was something, the thing I was most proud of, it was something we harped on all week. And it was something we said to the players of, it's time, we found ourselves down, for the first time in the game in a few weeks. And it was like, okay, we need to respond. We need to go do to somebody what's been done to us the last couple of weeks. And I thought our guys responded. They came out in the second half the right way. And went and attacked those guys. And so that was another step in the right direction, and just the process of trying to build to where we want to get to as a unit and as a team.
It's not like a broken record by now, but another game where there's gonna be a lot of purple in the stands, especially an in-state game. How excited are you to kind of see what it's gonna be like?
No, it's awesome, and it's there's nothing better than going into another team stadium and being able to look up and see a ton of purple and gold. Hopefully it looks just like it did when we were up at ODU, but that's the greatest thing about Pirate Nation. They're going to show up wherever we're at, and hopefully we can have a ton of purple there on Saturday and make sure we're celebrating with them afterwards.
y'all are using some 7-man protection at times, especially this past game. Is that new for you at all, or just something you got to decide game to game?
No, it's part of what we do. There's certain schemes that we do that it's a part of, but it's an easy protection. But the other thing is, it shores up things, and there's certain things that we do offensively that it's a part of what we do, and it helps. It helps for sure because you can keep those guys in and make sure we shore up the pocket and give us a clean pocket. Because as we've seen, if Jake's got a clean pocket, he's pretty good with the ball in his hand.